Young Turks now has audio, the TYT Audio Network, podcasts of some of your favorite shows and new shows, including one with Nina Turner, former Ohio State Senator. She's going to do We the People with Nina Turner, talking about equality and justice and seeing that through the eyes of regular Americans who are affected by politics and policy. Everybody check it out at tyt.com/audio.
A state lawmaker in Arizona is catching a little bit of heat from his party following some statements he made about how there aren't enough white kids to go around in the state's public schools. This is State Representative David Stringer. And I don't want to put words in his mouth. I want to be fair to him. So why don't you hear from him himself? Let's take a look at the video.
60% of public school children in the state of Arizona today are minorities. That complicates racial integration because there aren't enough white kids to go around. But when you look at that 60% number for our public school students, just carry that forward 10 years, 15 years, it's going to change the demographic voting base of this state. And that's what's going on around the country. Immigration is politically destabilizing. President Trump has talked about this. I'm very concerned about this. This immigration today represents an existential threat to the United States. If we don't do something about immigration, very, very soon, the demographics of our country will be irrevocably changed, and we will be a very different country.
I want you to focus on the most important sentence in that rant. Immigration is politically destabilizing. At the end of the day, it always goes back to that. We are the Republican Party. We are racist. We are hateful. People don't usually like to vote for us because of those reasons, unless they look like us. So we need to do something about immigrant kids. We need to do something about immigrants. They're politically destabilizing. That's what it's really. Look, they of course think they're inferior, that immigrants are inferior. But more importantly, they're worried about what increased diversity means for them and their political future. That's what they really care about. And by the way, there aren't enough white kids to go around. So what is your solution? There are a lot of immigrants who have become legalized here in the United States. They're going to continue getting married, having kids. They might even mix with white kids later on. So like, what's your solution? Like forced procreation among white couples?
But only whites.
Only whites, yes.
Because there aren't enough white kids to go around. Where are they going? So he didn't say legal immigrants versus illegal immigrants.
Right.
He said whites. And then he talked about demographics, and there's shifting demographics. And then he said it's an existential threat to the United States. Hold on, let's think about what that means. If the United States is a combination of immigrants, Asians, Latinos, whites, blacks, etc., why would it be an existential threat to the United States? If the sign on the Statue of Liberty is right, give me your poor, your wretched refuse of your teeming shores, etc., why would it be an existential threat? But if your view of the United States is white and only white, then yeah, it is an existential threat to the white United States of America. Back when you were in charge. Because it's not like white people are going away. It's not like they're not having enough sex. It's not like they're not having enough kids. That's actually not an issue. That's an issue in other countries. Is there enough of a birth rate, et cetera? That's largely not an issue here. No, what they're saying is we're going to lose political power. And we used to rule over them. And we won't be able to rule over them anymore. And our white supremacy will be lost.
This is the reason why the redistricting happens, gerrymandering happens. This is exactly the reason why states like Ohio are now making it even more difficult for people to vote. They're purging their polls, and the Supreme Court just waited on that and said, absolutely, please go ahead, purge your polls. Okay, story we did earlier this week if you want to look into the details of that. So it's always policy that positively impacts the Republican Party, because they can't win based on the merits of their ideas. Yeah. And so they have to rig the system in their favor. And in his mind, this is, hey, immigration, I mean, diversity, that's politically destabilizing to people like me. We need to do something about this. White kids, they need to go around.
So now, Anna mentioned that story. That's a really important story. If you want to catch all of our shows, become a member, tyt.com/join. Don't miss this stuff. All of this is very important, and they're rolling through here. And so I used to think that, hey, white supremacy, that sounds a bit extreme. But it turns out we're in extreme times. They've come out of the closet, and they're not hiding it anymore. They're not talking about legal immigrants versus illegal immigrants. In fact, now they're saying we should bar the legal immigrants because of what they call chain migration. That is the primary way that legal immigrants come to this country. They don't want that anymore. Why? Because they're afraid they're going to lose their supremacy. It's real, and they're now just admitting it. So Anna, did the guy apologize?
Of course he didn't apologize. Look, to the credit of some Republican state lawmakers, they did come out and reject him, which is actually a fresh of breath air in this era because Representative Steve King has been retweeting well-known neo-Nazis, and Republicans on a federal level haven't denounced him, still haven't denounced him. So it's nice to see that some Republican state lawmakers in Arizona have come out and condemned him for these statements. But overall, I mean, the strategy now is to double down on your bigotry. That's what Trump does. He never apologizes, and it's worked out smashingly for him.
And Stringer not only didn't apologize, he said, well, look, the president says similar things. Well, unfortunately, that's true. And he then started talking about African Americans and how they're not assimilating.
Doubling down.
Okay, wait a minute. African Americans have been here for centuries. What do you mean they're not assimilating? What does that mean? I don't know what,
Yeah.
I literally don't know what it means. Do you want them to be white? They can't be white. I don't know what you want them to do. It's not like he says, oh, some people aren't, still have accents. Wait.
What do you want them to do about why do you care? Why does that bother them so much?
Okay.
The whole notion of assimilation coming from people like him is beyond insulting. As long as people come here and they follow our rules, follow our laws, they can practice whatever culture they want, as long as they're not breaking any of our laws. I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable. Like the fact that people with accents make him uncomfortable gives you a sense of who he is and how devastatingly insecure he is as a human being.
He went on to talk about how people that came in the past from Ireland, Sweden, and Norway, etc., did not have accents. Well, okay, they had accents in the beginning, you idiot, right? Second of all, people from Ireland speak English. So, poor example. Anyway, he's like, but they don't have accents anymore. Well, okay, then welcome the Latinos that are coming to the country, and they won't have accents in one generation. So, for example, I came when I was 8. I don't have an accent. You must love me, right? My guess is no, you're not gonna, whether it's accents or not accents, you don't love them. And it's because, in his case, he's a proud, apparently, white supremacist.
That's right.
And he's a state representative in the state of Arizona. If you're a Latino or any non-white person that he represents, do you think he's representing you?
Because he sees you as something that's politically destabilizing.
He sees you as a threat to his white supremacy, and he sees you as someone to be commanded and controlled, and not someone to be respected and to represent. He thinks my job is to lord over you, not to represent you. They should vote him out of office as quick as humanly possible. Look, a couple of the Republicans in Arizona said the right things about Stringer. Now it goes to the Republican voters in the next election. Yeah. Look, there's Democrats there too. There's independents. I hope that they go out and vote. But will Republican voters look at this and go, oh, I can't believe he said that. It looks like he doesn't believe in American principles. Or will they be like, white supremacy rocks. I like this guy. And of course, at the end, what did he say? He said what Trump says all the time. Hey, I just tell it like it is. Yeah, it's true. You did tell it as it is in your mind. And you explained that you are racist, and you were very, very clear about it. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below. Then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.